You're listening to Stellar Success, Leveling Up for Medical Pros with Dr. Tudor Francu. Join us as we explore how medical professionals can achieve stellar success in all areas of life. It's time to level up.
I'm Dr. Tudor Francu, and this is Stellar Success Podcast. I have the pleasure of having Dr. Thompson today with me, and we'll share some of the insights and secrets of his success. Dr. Thompson, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me, Dr. Francu. I appreciate being on the show. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. It's a lot of talk about what it means to be successful, right? And I read somewhere that you don't fabricate success, you attract success. In your vision, what is a definition of success for you? And in general, what is your why?
I think success it goes beyond monetary. I think it's about having wealth. And I think wealth is not just financial wealth. I think it's wealth of your spiritual health, your emotional health, physical health, and then financial health. And so I think that we're really after living the life that you dream of and imagine. I think one of my inspirational books for me is from Napoleon Hill, Thinking.
I think I lost your audio for a second.
I think that's you're looking at what each aspect of your life looks like, and then you want to really maximize that for yourself. So that really helps you to be the person that you want to be, not just from a financial standpoint, but collectively, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So just looking at those things and really having a clear cut view of what that looks like. If you read the book, he talks about not just talking about how much money you want, but a specific amount. Like, I want $1 million, I want $2 million, and I want it by this time frame, and I want to be in this kind of shape by this time. I want to pray this many times a day. I want to have these type of relationships with my wife, my kids. So I think it's having really clear cut goals. It can't just be a generic, I just want to be rich, or I want to be in shape, because there's no accountability with that. So I think you have to really focus in on what you want and when you want it by. And then your mind will allow you to get to that point, because you'll put your whole focus there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Just for the audience, we're gonna put a link in the notes with this amazing book of Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, so everybody can have a chance to reread it or read it for the first time.
Great book. Great book.
Yeah, it's I just want the audience to hear from you a little bit about your story. How did you get to where you are right now? How did you start in this field, and how's it going in general for you?
It's going good. I always see on like social media how they talk about like how it started and how it's going now type of thing. And so I've definitely had a journey. I came out of fellowship about 9 years ago, trained up at Virginia Commonwealth in Richmond, from Dallas originally. So I was moving back to Dallas, my hometown. I was really excited about that. Got my first job with a company called Lumen Health. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So after 2 years, I was on to another spot, Dallas Pain Consultants. 3 years after that, COVID hit. Things didn't go quite as planned. And then, those set of misfortunes drove me to where I am now, which was my own company. I built my own company because I was like, if you can't find it, build it. And so that's been kind of my mentality. And so I started my own company. It'll be 4 years in October. And it's just been really great. The experience, the journey. There's still headaches just like there were before, but at least they're your headaches. You're able to kind of decide what you want and what you're going to do about it. And everything that's wrong, I'm able to look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, this is something that you helped create. So you've got to help figure out how to fix it. So that's awesome. So I really do enjoy that.
That's awesome. One of the nice quotes that I like is that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Absolutely,
100%. The same thing in entrepreneurship and business, right? You will never experience the benefits of having your own company unless you start it. Like you said, if it doesn't exist, you build it.
Yes.
Um, that's a great point. So in general, what would you think a big professional win is for you so far, and how did that push you forward?
So I think for us, we were in a point where we were trying to figure out who we were going to be, what we want our practice to look like. I was looking at things I had incorporated from before that were wins. And one thing I really liked was being able to offer low cost injections for my patients because I'm passionate about being able to provide care. One barrier that patients sometimes will run into they're not aware of is facility costs. And so facility costs, if you go to a facility like a hospital or ASC, you've got to pay a good chunk of money. And one thing my old group did well was providing low cost injections where you could get it done in the office and you're able to pay just for the professional fee basically and a very reduced facility fee. So we were able to acquire equipment, our own C-arm, which we used to do injections with, a table, and all the other things that go into building a procedure suite. And so I was just really proud about that because it really helped to take our practice to the next level. We were, leasing all that stuff from other people and we were able to acquire our own stuff. And now we have a really great procedure suite and we've been able to replicate what we had in my other practice, but I've made it even more my own. So I really feel like that's been a big win, and we're looking to build a bigger suite here in the coming, months to year. So really excited about where things are taking off.
That's great. That's
Thank
a
you.
great goal. Yeah. I'm sure, being this successful in your own practice meant probably a few or a lot of failures, right? You cannot have
Mhm.
success without failure. So, do you think there was something that not necessarily pan out for you in the past and kind of made you take better decisions?
Absolutely. I mean, we messed up in so many different ways at the beginning. There's a meme where the guy's looking at the sideline reporter and he's like, to be honest, they had us in the first half. Like, they
Yeah.
came back and won the game, but it's like they had us in the first half. So, when we first got started, we didn't have the right personnel. I think, and that goes from top to bottom. From medical assistants to the manager of the practice to billing to everything, consulting. So we really had to kind of rebuild our whole team. And that was really humbling for me because I had picked out these people originally and didn't make the right picks, which definitely is on me. It's like you're the general manager making
Yeah.
the right picks and the wrong picks. And, fortunately, you're the owner too. So you don't get fired for being a bad GM, which I was at the beginning. And I was able to kind of rebuild the team. We have a really great staff, great team now, great consultants, great billing. So I'm just really happy with the team that we've been able to build and learn from those mistakes. But it's very humbling because you think that and a lot of times you don't. And so a lot of things have been try and fail. The consultant I have now, I love her because she said, you've taken so many uppercuts to the chin, but you're still going. And, I'm just thankful to God for that. He's definitely helped me
Yeah.
through this, but I feel like it's been a journey. So I'm grateful for the learning that I've had and the lessons, have really helped get us to where we are. So just grateful to be here.
That's great.
Thank you.
Awesome story. Like they said, right? You can go fast if you do it alone, but you can go far if you do it in a team.
Yeah,
And it's probably the most important thing, to have the right people around you to move you forward.
for
Um,
sure.
you obviously know how to deal with risks, right?
Mhm.
Because building your own company is something that not many people like to do or know how to do. What do you think are the main skills or habits, I would say, that contributed to your success and to the fact that you build your own business?
I think, understanding what you know and what you don't know, and then finding the right people around you, so because everybody contributes something. So, I think Bill Gates, he said it well. He said, if I don't know something, I'm going to go find somebody else who has that knowledge and
Hmm.
help. So, I'm not the most detail oriented, but I get very detail oriented manager, who's able to come in and help me with that detail oriented consultant. I'm more of a vision, big picture guy. And so that was something where I struggled in the details, and so getting the right people in there was essential so that the ideas I had could be carried out, in a really great way. So I think that's a big thing, and just being humble enough to listen to other people because no one does it alone. No one understands everything. So I think when you're building something, you need to have a vision, and you need to have kind of your team that you build around you, and you need to meet with that team regularly, and you need to talk to them about what's going well and what's not going well. And I think if you're willing to listen to those things, you can improve. If you think you know everything and you're arrogant and you can't say you don't know, which is not something that's really taught in medical field, because you're always
Yeah.
like, trying to be smarter than everybody else. And I just am very humble. I tell people, if I don't know, I'm going to tell you. And if I do know, I know. And if I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm going to try to figure it out or find someone who does. So I think that's the key, because you can't build a company. No one has the knowledge to do that all by themselves. You have to have
Right.
other people around you for certain.
Yeah, this is one subject that it's very interesting for me, and I think for my audience too. The fact that, we in medical school in general, we're not taught about anything related to entrepreneurship, with how you build your medical business, what is the medical billing look like, what do you
Mhm.
need to know about, all this business related activities that you need to know when you start your own company.
Mhm.
So, a lot of people are thinking, well, I know medicine, I know how to practice medicine, I know how to take care of patients. But what would you advise someone who comes out of medical school? It's very good at what he does, but has no idea how to build his own business or own practice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you have to look at the mirror and just be honest with yourself and say, am I someone who enjoys medicine, or am I someone who enjoys the business of medicine? Because those are two different things, the practice of medicine and the business of medicine. To me, I enjoy the business of medicine almost as much as the practice of medicine, if not more.
Hmm.
I really enjoy taking care of patients, but I'm also passionate about trying to figure out how to create a better environment for my patients. And so, in order to do that, you have to create a business or to create an ecosystem. So, we live in an era where hospitals have kind of done that for us, but a lot of us are not
Yeah.
happy with those ecosystems. So I'm a big proponent of the independent physician. I like the idea of having a business because it safeguards the ability for us to be an independent physician or independent groups. And so I think that creates the best medicine in the long run. And so, you've got to make money in order to do the things you love. And so I think that thinking about your practice as a business is actually going to help you practice medicine better. And so I think you have to decide, am I the guy or the lady who's going to drive that, or do I want to be a part of that? But each role is equally important, because you need great people to provide great healthcare and be a part of those organizations, and then you need people to lead that. And I think us sticking together, especially independent physicians and people who want to have quality healthcare and not be all eaten up by corporate medicine and by hospital medicine, we need to do that. So I'm really
Yeah.
passionate about that. So I think, for me, it's asking yourself, do I want to be this person? And then if so, I need to go in and prepare myself. So I need to read books like the Napoleon Hill book and others to acquire the knowledge that I didn't get in medical school. I need to talk to people who are not in my field, like business people who have MBAs, and I need to talk to attorneys, and I need to talk to people who are not just medical, because I need to understand these other things. And, back to the humility point, you have to understand that you don't know everything about these things. And so getting this information from other people is the key, because you don't have enough time to learn it all by yourself. So getting the right people around, understanding what you don't know, and then letting good people do their jobs is the key to success, in my opinion.
Yeah. Leverage other people's time and resources, right? And knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, that's a great advice. Speaking of the books and podcasts and shows that you watch or you read, what would be something that you would recommend for someone like that?
I mean, I think back to the Napoleon Hill book, really a great book, because another point I kind of alluded to, but it's also discussed in the book, is kind of building your team of people. So
Yeah,
the author, he talks about his talks with Napoleon and Abraham Lincoln in his mind, and how he has this team of people who they're not even alive anymore, but he envisions how they
right.
think. And then by reading their books and reading their literature and learning all these different schools of thoughts, these books act as kind of a light that guide us where we need to go. And it's that conversation that you're having with these great minds that helps to influence your own to define yourself, because you're not going to find one person who's perfect. None of us are, but you can take things from each person to make you a better version of yourself. And so I think
Hmm.
that's really, what I would say. I think also the need to really create that mentality is key. So you have to have a winning mentality, so I think in terms of that, having a clear vision and then letting yourself know that desire has to be turned into reality. And so if you believe that and you push for it, you're going to get to that point. So I think that for me
Yeah.
is like a really, really big point. I think the
So
other book I like
yeah.
is Thinking as the How to Win Friends and Influence People, just
Hmm.
because people are so key. And I think that we spend so little time as physicians really developing people and really interacting with people. So that also with your staff, developing your staff, creating the culture that you want, and investing in your employees is key as well. So I would say that too.
Yeah, that's very interesting what you said right now, that which is probably the fundamental thing at the base of being a leader, right? To know how to develop your own staff around you. Um, what style of leadership do you have in that respect? Are you more hands-on? Are you delegating a lot? Which one do you like?
I'm more hands-on, because I want to know who my people are. I struggle to delegate, so that's something I've had to really work on personally. Because you do want to do things, and I think that's very
Yeah,
physician-minded because it's hard to trust. You sometimes get burned that way, but you have to give people opportunities to have success and have failures. And so sometimes it's about giving people the opportunity to fail, because you need to in order for them to grow and to develop. And I think that builds loyalty and it builds confidence. It's no different than when we were all in training and our attending said to us, okay, it's your turn to do the procedure. And they thought about the
yeah,
risk and the liability and, that things could go wrong, but they trusted us and it built our confidence and allowed us to get to where we are. That's
right.
not only true with a physician, it's true with a medical assistant, it's true with the front desk, it's true with a, authorization specialist. You've got to give them the opportunity to fail and to get better. And then you've also got to give them the opportunity to do more, so that's really key to me.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, Other than your professional success, I would say, how do you see yourself in the big scheme of things, in the 24-hour day that we all have?
Mhm.
What's your approach on, respective to your health, your nutrition, being just a complete human?
Well, I mean, I try to center myself. So I think the biggest thing is my faith. I, depend on God, depend on Jesus Christ, my Savior, to, ground me. And then, just being a good husband to my wife and, focus on family, I think is the number one thing. And then after that, I think when you're grounded spiritually and, it helps you from other aspects, you're like, I want to be healthy. So I'm going to the gym in the mornings to work out or working out on my bike and just getting myself again kind of centered, praying, meditating, getting myself right before I can go take care of the people. After that, I think it's just about mental health. So it's about reading the right type of books and being around the right type of people, having good conversations. So, robust friendships and relationships, I think are really important. Even with your staff, it's just like the little things, asking them how their day was, really
Yeah,
caring about them and finding ways that you can connect. Because then work doesn't become work; it becomes more fun, and you create a sense of family. So you've got family at home, you've got a family at work that you're creating, there. And I think that builds a good life, and then that leads to financial success because that family at work is now going to like look out for you, just like they look
right.
out. And then it's you're rewarding those people as they perform. You all win. If you look at most people who are billionaires, they made a lot of millionaires. They didn't just get rich on their own. So
Yeah,
I think the more you create that environment, the better off you are. So that's kind of my personal approach.
interesting. Yeah, that's a good approach actually. Center yourself around faith. That's a great way to see things in life. Um, you were talking about financial independence and
Mhm.
financial success in general for medical professionals, and I wanted to kind of touch on this subject a little bit because you know we all work hard in our
Mhm.
jobs, and there's so much we can do up until certain age. How do you see the notion of having multiple passive income streams to help you, towards the end of your professional life? And if you have any specific or, you like certain type of investments in that point of view.
I think that's definitely something that keeps me up at night because, you make a lot of money when you're working. but you think about one day this is going to go away. And, I think that you have to set yourself up for passive streams of income. I went to dinner with a buddy of mine last night, and, we talked about how when you work just for yourself only, that you can't, really win. You've got to have other people and other things working for you to really get to where you want to be financially. So I think from a physician standpoint, that's tough because we're used to, kind of see a patient, make a dollar, and that's a mentality that we have to get out of. We have to diversify what we do and who we are. I think of myself as more of an entrepreneur and a Renaissance man. So, I look at other investments, whether that's, an ambulatory surgery center, where you can maybe have a little bit more control by bringing the cases there, and there's a good return, or whether it's real estate, and it's getting in
Yeah.
on a deal. I think that you just have to vet each investment. One of my mentors, he did a lot of investment in the stock market even, but he invested in things he understood. He understood medicine. So he would read like phase 2, phase 3 drug trials, and then look and see if the companies are publicly traded. And then he would invest if he believed in the medicine. And he told
Interesting.
me he was up 45, 50%, versus the market in
Yeah.
that time frame. So, just learning from people like that, and also again asking people who understand the market to make it make sense. And I'm very humble. I'm like, explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten and make it make sense for me. I want to understand what I'm investing in. So, don't feel like you have to pretend like you know something you don't. So if an
Right.
investment doesn't make sense and you can't explain it to your kid, then it's not a good investment because you're going to set yourself up for something that you don't understand. So make sure
Yes.
you understand what you're getting yourself into. ASCs are great because something we understand, but real estate can be a great play, very durable as well, something I definitely believe in. And then even in the stock market, if you know what you're doing. So I think it's just a combination of things, but definitely understanding that thing that you're investing in and really believing in it.
Interesting. Are you more of a guy who likes cash flow or appreciation, or just pure tax advantages?
I like cash flow and appreciation. Tax advantages are nice, don't get me wrong, but I feel like cash is the really important thing because it facilitates more opportunities. And so, especially being a business owner, having more cash coming in allows me to look at other businesses that we can get into or improvement of our current business.
Yeah.
So, that is probably the most important thing to me. That being said, I do appreciate, a good tax break if we can find it, and we've definitely benefited from those as a practice as well. But I think that, cash is the big thing for me.
Interesting. That's good. That's good. Do you have any projects right now you're thinking about, or keeps you excited?
I think right now we're just trying to figure out how to bring wellness into pain management. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, a lot of the things I see in the pain landscape are really wellness issues. So we spend more time focusing on the psychological health of our patients and also things like in terms of the diet, wellness, and weight loss aspects that can
Mm-hmm.
affect pain. We traditionally look at imaging like MRIs and CTs and X-rays, try to identify things and do our traditional, epidurals. But the thing is, if someone's very overweight or has increased inflammation or has other, undiagnosed mental health issues that can be affecting their pain, that needs to be dealt with. So I think we're looking at the patient more as from a holistic standpoint. I think a lot of Western medicine docs are kind of anti that. I'm very much evidence based, but I think that there's opportunities to bring in other therapies. My wife is a yoga instructor, so she's taught me a lot about stretching and just being healthy and looking at that, understanding anatomy. We both understand anatomy very well, understanding how this can be incorporated into like preventative stuff to help prevent getting to that point or helping people restore themselves. So I've been really excited about that, just treating the whole patient, because I think it helps get us away from the opiates and the meds that has become so commonplace in our field, where people come in and they expect a medicine and a quick fix, and I'm saying this, let's tear the band-aid off. Let's actually get you better. Let's actually fix you. Let's find out what's wrong. Also from the more Western medicine side, focusing on newer advanced procedures like SI fixation, for example, we're able to actually go in and not palliate the problem, but actually restore and fix it. So there's
Mm-hmm.
more stuff in the pain space than ever that's allowing us, like interspinous spacers and SI fixations, to really help us fix the pain rather than palliate it, like with injections or, with stimulation, for example. So a lot of
Yeah,
cool stuff coming on board.
I think that's a great point that you're making right now. The fact that your specialty is probably one of the only specialties right now that can relate to the wellness, um, being of the whole human body, because
Hmm.
like you said, you don't have to treat like a specific pain point.
Hmm.
You just look at the patient as a whole, and you have the opportunity of like looking to find out what's going on for
Hmm.
real, to cause that kind of pain.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's an interesting concept that you're applying, and I was curious, what would you say to as an advice to yourself if you would have been back in medical school and just graduating, for the same reason, for someone who wants to step in your footsteps right now?
I would just say, make sure you widen your circle of your friends, because I think that one thing I've noticed is I'm reaching back more to like my college and high school friends now,
Hmm.
because they're the ones that went into other fields, and then we got kind of in our medical bubbles with, medical school and residency and fellowship. And so our circles get more and more narrow. People talk about being around the same people who they vote the same or they believe the same thing. Well, you need a wider circle of friends in life, so it really helps you from a business standpoint too, to have friends who are in real estate, friends who are in finance, friends who are in, engineering, because they're able to help you in areas where you lack, and I find myself reaching out to these even high school and college friends who've been successful, about deals and about opportunities that I can't get from my medical circle. And even as I've been in medicine more, I find myself having more just only pain management friends. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to have friends in each specialty, because that's really important, and not just the ones that refer to me, because there are opportunities for collaboration beyond just getting referrals. So I think that that's something I would really say is just like maintain those friendships. It's easy to just focus on what's right in front of you, but making sure that you keep a wide circle of people who challenge you and make you think differently. That's where innovation really comes from, I think, is just having a different set of eyes, because then we all start to talk the same. So we need to think differently, and having different people allows that to happen.
Yeah, this is very important. I like the fact that you mentioned that, because I was thinking about this the other day in the context of our political life in the United States right now, anyway, with the election coming up. And you tend to stay in your own lane with your own people, like you said, cover
Hmm.
yourself with the same type of opinions that you have.
Yeah.
But getting out of your comfort zone and getting people around you that have different opinions and different points of view make you better.
Right.
That whole environment is going to make you better, even if they don't agree with you and you don't agree with them. But exposing yourself to this kind of environments that are not necessarily comfortable
Hmm.
can move you forward. That's a great point.
For
um,
sure.
Dr. Thompson, it's been a pleasure having you, and I think the audience learned a lot from your points of view. What is a good place or contact for people to get in touch with you if they want more advice?
Absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn, Justin Thompson, MD. So you can look me up. Also, I am available through email, info@foundationpain.com. So if you want to send an email, that'll definitely come through. My practice is Foundation Pain and Spine as well. So if you look us up, definitely we have got presence on the web and also through social media. So definitely look us up.
Awesome. That's great. Nice having you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Francu. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
That's a wrap on Stellar Success, Leveling Up for Medical Pros with Dr. Tudor Francu. Interested in joining us? Go to stellarsuccesspodcast.com/guest to apply. Stay stellar and level up.